everybody, welcome to another Craft Break Live. My name is Emma Panuski, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a really simple and inexpensive way to make a gift box for the Valentine in your life. So this craft today is really for your sweetheart or a galentine, or maybe just a crafting party that you're going to have near Valentine's Day. It's a great teacher gift as well. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make it, and it's going to be really simple, and hopefully you'll learn some new techniques that maybe you never knew before. So before we get started, I do want to mention that Stephen White is in the studio with us today. So if you have any questions throughout our live stream, make sure to comment them down below. Stephen will be looking at your questions and answering a lot of them or relaying them over to me.
Absolutely. How's it going, Emma?
Good. How are you, Stephen?
I'm doing good. You ready to get going?
I am.
Great.
Okay, so let's start off by just going over all the supplies you're going to want to have to follow along with us today. So today we're going to be working with some apple barrel acrylic paint in the colors Snow White and Cameo Pink. The great thing about this, I'm going to teach you guys a little technique to use with Mod Podge and napkins. So I picked those colors for a reason, and in just a bit I'll tell you why. And we're also going to be working with whatever your favorite original formula of Mod Podge is, whether that be matte, satin, or gloss. And then we also have some really cute Valentine's napkins. Whenever there's a holiday coming up, I like to go to my local grocery store or home decor store because they always have really cute festive napkins. And they're great for parties, but they're also really great for crafting. So I have two of those napkins here. And then last but not least, I have this little wooden box that we actually make here at Plaid. You can find this at your local Walmart. It's really inexpensive, or you can find it on plaidonline.com. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the little sticker. And our first steps that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to base coat our box. So we're going to base coat the top of our box with our Snow White and the bottom of our box with our Cameo Pink. So let's go ahead and do that.
Emma, I feel like we've talked about this before, but what sort of Valentine's treats do you like to get in your box?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think we have talked about this before. I'm a sucker for a lollipop, a sucker for a sucker.
Yep.
I like those hard candies. What about you, Stephen?
I like chocolate candies. I like Reese's, and I also like Laffy Taffy. I feel like that's sort of a hot take nowadays.
That's a good choice. What's your favorite flavor of Laffy Taffy?
The banana kind, like the yellow one.
Stephen.
I know.
Ugh.
I know.
Hedonist. I don't know if we can be friends anymore after that.
You know what? That's okay. I stand by my decision.
That's my mom's favorite too. So Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That just means your mom gets it.
Yeah, true.
So we've got two different kinds of napkins too.
We do. We have one that's a really cute little Valentine's pattern, and then we have more of a design forward napkin. So they're both different in the ways that we're going to use them. And when I'm at the store looking to buy napkins for a craft like this, I always keep that in mind. Some pattern napkins are really good for some types of crafts, where if you want to have a big area to Mod Podge down, those little pattern napkins are great for that. But then we really have just this singular rainbow design, which is great for cutting out and really just pasting the full design onto your work. Okay, so we're just base coating this. And the great thing about apple barrel acrylic paint, if you're new and you don't know anything about it, it's non-toxic, it's water-based, it's really great for younger folks who are crafting, and it dries really quickly, which I like about that. I do love a fast-paced craft, especially stuff like this. It's a last-minute gift. You want to make it really quickly, but you still, of course, want it to be really nice quality, and that is exactly what apple barrel paint is. Okay, so we already went ahead and base coated the top of this with our Snow White. I'm gonna rinse my brush. And we're just working with like a 3/4 inch flat brush, nothing's fancy. Dry it off. And next to our palette, we are going to go ahead and place some Apple Barrel Cameo Pink, which is this really lovely light pink color. Perfect for Valentine's Day. Isn't that pretty? And as you can see, I love Apple Barrel paint. It's just a one and done type of deal. It has really great coverage and opacity. We're almost done here. Okay, I'll stop there. I won't paint all 4 sides for you guys. Gonna rinse my brush again. And then just really quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry the top and the bottom of my box so that we can move on to our Mod Podging. Okay, so once you go ahead and base coat your box, you're gonna set that aside. Now we're gonna mess with our napkins. So I'm gonna give you guys a really quick little lowdown on how to Mod Podge with napkins. So one of my favorite parts about Mod Podging with napkins is that it is a really easy technique or craft to do for beginners if you're kind of new to Mod Podge and decoupage. It's really forgiving, it's super easy, it works great to Mod Podge on curved surfaces like a glass or a mason jar or something like that. Today we're going to be kind of using a flat surface, but those are some of the benefits that I find with Mod Podging with napkins as opposed to Mod Podging with maybe like paper or something like that. Okay, so one thing that you're going to want to know is, first of all, of course, we're going to unfold our napkin. This is a pretty funny napkin. Okay, so we're going to unfold our napkin, but once we do, that is not the final step, and I'll tell you why. If I can get it unfolded. Is it? Oh, okay, that's cute. Okay, so once our napkin is unfolded and we see the fairer side of it, we have to remove the excess plies from the napkin. And what that means is there's several layers of paper that make up a napkin, and we just want it to be bare bones. We only want that one ply that has the design on it. We don't want the white ones. So to do that, you're just going to start kind of picking at it. And one tip that I want to give you guys, I have my bottle of Mod Podge here. If you're really struggling to peel those plies apart, I always like to dip my finger in some of the Mod Podge and then kind of let it dry in my hand until it gets a little bit tacky. It's a little bit too much. So we have a little bit of tacky Mod Podge on our finger. And then when you go in to separate the plies, you'll see that it wants to start peeling like that. See? So that way it makes it really easy to separate those plies. And another thing to note, sometimes napkins have 2 plies, but a lot of times they have 3 plies. So I just always try to keep picking until really nothing more is coming apart. See? That's a sleeper. There is 3 plies, I believe. Yep, 3 plies. So it's always good to check. And the reason that we want to separate those plies and get rid of the excess ones is because that's going to prevent wrinkles in our design. Okay, so we really only need this top little rainbow. So I'm going to go ahead and cut him off.
This would be a good napkin if you were making multiple boxes too.
Exactly, Stephen. You'll need 1 napkin in what? You could make like 6 different boxes. Good point. Okay, so I'm going to trim this up a little bit. Get as straight of a line as I can until we are left with our singular rainbow. This is also a fun napkin to keep around that you can use for Valentine's Day, and then just around the corner, it's St. Patrick's Day. I love a multi-use napkin. Okay, so we're bringing our top back. We have our napkin, and let's just make sure we have all of our supplies, and we have our Mod Podge. So traditionally, if you're Mod Podging like paper to something, I usually like to apply my Mod Podge to the paper as opposed to my surface, but it's really up to you. Unless you're Mod Podging with napkins, you're going to find that it's a little bit more difficult to apply your Mod Podge directly to the napkin and then seal that down. So we're going to apply our Mod Podge directly to our surface today. And like I said, I'm using Mod Podge matte today, but you can totally use your favorite finish of original formula Mod Podge. So just make sure that you apply it to a wide enough area where it's gonna hit all of the points of your napkin. Like so. Okay, and so one thing that we're going to remember is when we're applying our napkin down, it's good to hold your napkin taut. So I like to kind of touch down at a starting point of where I know I want my napkin to be. So I'm going to touch down up top, start rubbing my finger to lock it in place, and then I'm going to move in one direction, rubbing my finger downward. And the reason that I called out to move your finger in one direction is because if I'm moving it like this and I'm just kind of going all over the place, then that's where we're going to get some bubbles, because that air is going to get trapped, and we do not want that. So we're just moving our finger and releasing the air from under our napkin in just one direction. And that way you won't get any bubbles in your design, and it'll be nice and smooth and tidy. Just like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay, so let's apply a little bit more Mod Podge to the side to make our pattern look continuous. So we're just going to bring that down over the edge here. Like that. So adorable. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit out, bring it to the side, let it dry, make sure that there's no bubbles in my design. I'm going to set it down right there. And now we can start working on our box. Okay, so same deal as before. We're going to take our napkin, unfold it, and then start working to remove those plies. It's a tricky one. Tack up my finger a little bit. There we go. There's something kind of satisfying about removing the plies too.
Yeah, when it comes off in one big piece like that.
Okay. So let's see if there's a sneaky ply. It doesn't look like there is. No, I think we're good. Okay, so the reason that I chose the color palette that I chose for today, I know we talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but today I chose this cameo pink because it is such a light color. It actually takes the place of our napkins. You can see that this napkin isn't pink, it's just white, but because we base coated it with our cameo pink, that's actually going to come through because our napkin is going to be so transparent. And the reason I chose cameo pink, which is such a really pretty pale pink color, is because it's pale enough to where the napkin's design would still be really strong and it wouldn't, what's the word, like collide with the other colors. Yeah. Like we wouldn't choose like a hunter green because it might not show, or like a lime green because it might look a little not so good with the hot pink and the other colors we have going on in our napkin. So even if you wanted to choose like a pale purple or really pale blue, something like that, those would work too. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
All right, so I rinsed my brush so that the Mod Podge wouldn't dry in it, but I'm gonna get my brush out again. And I'll just show you guys on one side because it is the same technique for all 4 sides of your box. I'm going to cut out a piece of my napkin just to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Get some workable pieces going on. If you can, I always find that it makes life easier if you trim down your napkin a bit, just to make it a little bit more workable, so that way you're not having to place the entire napkin down and you have to worry about it wrinkling and getting bubbles. So I like to trim my napkins down. So kind of same thing as before. Ooh, that's a lot of Mod Podge. We're going to apply the Mod Podge to our surface. Make sure you get all of the areas. Like so. Now we are going to lay down, kind of start at a touch point, start rubbing it, and then just move in the direction. And that way we're moving in one direction. We're going to get a lot less bubbles and wrinkles and all of that bad stuff that we don't want when we Mod Podge. Like so. Okay. And I'm using a really gentle finger too. I should have mentioned that. It's important to be really gentle when you're Mod Podging napkins because, of course, napkins are so fragile, and especially when we're only left with one ply, and we don't want our napkin to tear. So I'm just being really gentle, having a really gentle touch when I'm brushing it out with my finger. Okay, till we're left with something like this. And now, if you wanted to, you could use your scissors to trim up the sides. But that can be a little bit tedious, and it's kind of hard to get it right to the edge of your box. So what I like to do is I have a little scrap piece of sandpaper. This is a kind of a rough grit. And what we're going to do is we're just going to swipe down, not making contact with the surface of our project, but just kind of on the side. So we're only touching the edge. Wiping down on the edge. And as you guys will be able to see, it's going to tear off our napkin just perfectly. So we get a really clean, crisp edge.
I love that tip.
This is also very satisfying and so quick too. It's a lot quicker, in my opinion, than using scissors and trying to get right up to that edge. Like this. So, super simple to do. You would just repeat this step on all 4 sides. And then you have a super cute little gift box, perfect for Valentine's Day. As you guys can see, we loaded ours up with some of our favorite Valentine's candies, Steven's favorite.
I didn't even know that was in there.
I was like, ooh, Steven, we have something special for you. I didn't even know.
You have any banana Laffy Taffies in there?
No,
Oh.
absolutely not.
Dang it.
Okay, so you guys, I hope that you enjoyed following along with our craft break today. Super, super easy last minute gift to give to your Valentine or Galentine or teacher, whoever you want to show some love to in your life this year. All of the products that we use today you can find at plaidonline.com or your local Walmart. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like always, for more project ideas and inspiration, you can go to plaidonline.com. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.